Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Imagine firing your landscaper, draining the gas from your mower, locking up the shed for the winter, and just, assuming your yard is safely off the clock until spring.
Right. We all do it.
Yeah, we naturally treat winter as this biological pause button. We think nature's just giving us a few months off.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what if the most destructive employee you've ever had is actually clocking in right now?
Just working completely unsupervised.
Exactly. Hiding right under the frost. It is really the ultimate seasonal sabotage. We want to believe the ecosystem just goes to sleep.
I mean, it looks dead out there.
It does. But biologically, at the microbial level, the landscape is incredibly active if you inadvertently provide the right conditions.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring this really brilliant framework today, originally conceptualized by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte.
Yeah, their bad employee spotlight.
Right. They took a very real, incredibly frustrating lawn disease known as snow mold and gave it like a mock performance review.
It's such a fantastic lens for looking at winter yard care.
It really is.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to dig into the actual biological mechanics of this saboteur. We want to equip you to identify it, neutralize it, and most importantly, stop unintentionally hiring it in the first place.
Because, this isn't just an issue for meticulous turf managers.
No, not at all.
Whether you measure your grass with a ruler or you completely forget you have a yard the minute it hits December, understanding the mechanics of this specific fungal disease will completely flip how you view the winter ecosystem outside your front door.
So, to stop this saboteur, we first have to clear up its name.
The great misnomer.
Exactly. Snow mold sounds like a strict weather event. It sounds like something you only have to worry about if you get 3 feet of snow.
Right.
But the reality is, its name is its greatest disguise.
Absolutely. The name implies this strict environmental requirement that simply doesn't exist. There are 2 primary culprits we're dealing with here.
Let's hear them.
So you have Microdocium nivelle and Typhilus species.
Oh.
And while they both fall under the broad umbrella of snow mold, their operational tactics and really their biological preferences are slightly different.
Okay, let's unpack this. If we're looking at Microdocium nivelle, which is often referred to as pink snow mold, it absolutely does not need a blizzard.
Not at all.
It's basically just cold, wet mold. It thrives in cool, damp conditions, specifically right in that 32 to 60 degree Fahrenheit window.
Which is a huge window for a lot of the country.
Exactly. It operates exactly like a burglar who doesn't need you to leave the back door wide open. They just need you to leave a slightly damp welcome mat out front.
That's a great way to put it. What's fascinating here is how the 2 species exploit different microclimates.
How so?
Well, Microdocium nivelle is highly opportunistic without any snow cover whatsoever. As long as it has that damp, chilly 32 to 60 degree range, it is actively feeding on the grass.
Just having a feast.
Right. Now, the Typhilus species, which cause gray snow mold, they tend to prefer a bit more cover.
Like actual snow.
Like a heavy layer of snow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just a dense, thick mat of wet leaves. Biologically, Typhlo relies on these hardened survival structures called sclerotia to overwinter, so it really likes the insulation.
I got it.
But the underlying truth for both is exactly the same. The snow is just a vehicle for moisture.
I mean, in places like North Carolina, where you might not see a single major snowfall all year, you can still have a massive snow mold outbreak just from cold rain and high humidity.
Exactly.
Which really makes the bad employee framing so perfect. We tend to view fungal diseases as acts of God, like a hurricane or a drought,
Right, something you can't control.
Exactly. But treating this fungus as an opportunistic employee highlights that it's just responding to an environment we maintain.
We set the stage.
Right. It's clocking in because we inadvertently left the lights on and the door unlocked.
Yes. Fungal spores are omnipresent. They're already there in your soil, just completely dormant.
Wait, they're already there.
Oh, yeah. They don't migrate into your yard during the winter. They're waiting patiently for a specific biological trigger. The disease is a direct response to a vulnerability in how the turf was managed leading up to the cold.
Man, so we're the ones leaving the damp welcome mat out. We're the ones doing the hiring.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so let's look at the specific yard profiles and conditions this Fungus loves. It's employee likes, if you will.
Let's go through the resume.
Right. So this bad employee thrives on trapped moisture and limited airflow. Heavy leaves left sitting on the grass, a thick layer of thatch, grass left too tall before winter, dense shade, and overwatering.
All the classics.
And it has a particular affinity for attacking tall fescue lawns. But there's one like here that I really need us to dig into because it feels incredibly counterintuitive.
The nitrogen.
Yes. The ideal target for snow mold is a lawn that received a heavy application of late-season nitrogen. Wait, the source is over-fertilizing with nitrogen late in the fall is a target? Isn't that counterintuitive?
It seems like it, right?
Yeah, because we're usually told to feed our lawns before they go to sleep for the winter. Aren't we just giving the grass a good meal? That's the whole point of a winterizer fertilizer. You want the plant to have enough energy reserves to survive the freeze.
This raises a really important question about the difference between feeding a plant for carbohydrate storage and forcing a plant to push canopy growth right before a freeze.
Okay, so there's a tipping point where that winterizer actually becomes a liability.
A massive liability. When you apply heavy, fast-release nitrogen too late in the fall, you hijack the plant's natural hardening process.
Hardening process.
Yeah, so the grass naturally wants to pull water and nutrients down into the roots. It thickens its cellular walls to withstand freezing temperatures.
Like putting on a winter coat.
Exactly. But that excess nitrogen forces it to produce lush, rapid top growth instead.
Oh, I see. So instead of letting the plant build up its winter armor, we are essentially forcing it to create soft, succulent tissue.
Right. It's the exact opposite of what it needs to be doing.
So when you push that late nitrogen, the grass cells fill up with water and expand rapidly. It's almost like blowing up a water balloon right to its absolute limit and then tossing it into a briar patch.
That is a terrifyingly accurate analogy.
Right. The cell walls are stretched so incredibly thin that the freezing temperatures and the fungal enzymes just pop them open instantly to get at the sugars inside.
That is the exact mechanism.
Oh.
You've created a canopy of incredibly weak, vulnerable tissue. The snow mold fungi don't even have to work hard to breach the cellular walls.
They just walk right in.
They just puncture those thin, tender leaves and feast on the nutrient-rich fluid. It is an all-you-can-eat buffet that you've deliberately set up for them.
Good grief. And to make matters worse, we often throw a wet blanket over that buffet.
Leaves.
Let's talk about the leaf litter and the tall grass. Because a lot of people, myself included sometimes, skip that final rake or that final mow because it's cold outside.
It's a chore.
It is. But biologically, we are creating a terrifyingly perfect microclimate.
We really are. The fungi require extremely high humidity to travel and reproduce. So when you leave a thick layer of oak or maple leaves over the grass, you completely block out the sunlight and the wind.
Just a total blackout.
Yes. And even if it hasn't rained in a week, the ambient moisture from the earth and the morning dew get permanently trapped under those leaves.
Wow.
You're essentially engineering a tiny, highly humid greenhouse directly on the soil surface. Combine near 100% humidity with that 32 to 60 degree temperature range, and the fungi will multiply exponentially.
And leaving the grass too tall accomplishes the exact same thing, right?
Same exact principle.
Because the blades get heavy, they get hit with frost, and they physically fold over on themselves. They just mat down.
Precisely. Tall fescue, for instance, naturally has a wider leaf blade. When it's left too tall, those broad leaves collapse under the weight of the frost, and they overlap, like shingles on a roof.
Oh, that paints a picture.
Right. And they completely seal off the crown of the plant, that vital intersection where the root meets the shoot way. They seal it off from any oxygen exchange. The stagnant, damp air is trapped underneath, creating the ultimate breeding ground.
Okay, so the table is perfectly set. The grass is structurally vulnerable from the nitrogen. It's folded over, covered in wet leaves, and completely cut off from the wind and sun.
A disaster waiting to happen.
Right. The fungus clocks in and works all winter. So what does the scene of the crime actually look like when the weather starts to turn in late winter and early spring?
It's usually a visual shock. You walk outside expecting to see the early signs of spring green up. You're looking for that fresh color.
Yeah.
But instead, you find these highly distinct, totally dead-looking patches scattered across the lawn.
And the visuals are incredibly specific, right? The source points out you're looking for circular gray, white, or straw-colored patches.
It's a classic crop circle look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the grass within those circles isn't just brown, it's completely flattened and matted to the ground.
Like it's been glued down.
Yes. It looks like someone left a heavy, wet piece of cardboard on the yard all winter and just peeled it off. And these spots can be tiny, like just a few inches across, or they can merge into massive dead zones several feet wide.
It can take over the whole yard if you're not careful.
But here's where it gets really interesting. If you catch it at the exact right time, under the right conditions, you don't just see dead grass, you see the fungus itself.
That's the mycelium.
Okay, tell me about the mycelium.
It is the vegetative body of the fungus, and catching a glimpse of it is the absolute most defining characteristic of an active snow mold infection.
It's described as a thin, web-like fungal growth stretching across the patches. So if you walk out on a damp, foggy spring morning, you might literally see a giant, sprawling alien web covering your front lawn.
It's wild to see in person.
It sounds terrifying.
It looks like something straight out of a sci-fi horror film. Fungi typically live entirely underground or strictly inside the plant tissue, totally hidden from the naked eye. But when the ambient humidity hits that critical threshold, the mycelium actually erupts out of the infected plant tissue.
Erupts.
Yes. It grows across the surface of the wet grass, actively seeking out healthy neighboring blades to infect and consume.
So you are literally watching the fungus hunt in real time. It's actively stretching out to eat your yard.
It is.
But the catch is it's incredibly fragile.
Extremely fragile. As soon as the sun crests the trees and the morning dew evaporates, those delicate mycelial webs dry out and vanish almost instantly.
Just poof, gone.
Exactly. If you go out at noon, all you see is the dead, matted grass left in its wake.
Which totally explains why people panic and just assume the freezing temperatures killed the grass. If you miss the morning webs, you just see massive brown crop circles.
I have no idea what actually caused it.
Right. But despite how apocalyptic a sprawling fungal web sounds, the actual damage is usually entirely cosmetic. The source confirms snow mold rarely kills the entire lawn.
That is the crucial silver lining, and it all comes back to the anatomy of the grass plant. The fungus is primarily attacking the leaf tissues, the blades themselves.
Okay.
So while the top growth might be completely decimated and turned to mush, the crown of the plant and the root system below ground are often perfectly healthy.
Oh, wow. So it's just a haircut from hell, basically.
Essentially, yes. Recognizing the visual cues, the circular mats, the gray or pinkish hue, and especially those morning webs, allows you to accurately diagnose the problem as snow mold rather than total winter kill. And if the crown is alive, the lawn can recover.
Okay, so the grass isn't dead. Huge relief. But nobody wants their spring yard looking like a fungal crop circle.
Nobody.
We need to put this employee on a performance improvement plan.
I love that.
Right. We need to treat the current damage, fire the fungus, and make sure we never hire it again.
Let's do it.
And the protocol is surprisingly simple. First, don't panic. Second, gently rake the affected patches to stand the grass up. Third, do not overwater. Mother Nature has that handled right now.
He definitely does.
Fertilize only when the active growing season has actually started to help the grass push out new blades. And look into addressing your soil health with liquid aeration. Fungicides are reserved solely for the most severe chronic cases.
That's the playbook.
But I have to be honest, I really struggle to believe that a fungal network capable of aggressively hunting and destroying a lawn can be defeated by a $15 garden rake. I mean, raking seems almost too easy. Mechanically, how is just dragging a rake over the grass actually killing this alien web?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes perfect biological sense. Remember the fundamental vulnerability we've been discussing all along?
A microclimate.
Exactly. Snow mold absolutely requires a highly specific, highly stable microclimate. It needs near 100% humidity and completely stagnant air. The mycelium itself is almost entirely made of water.
Okay.
So by taking a rake and physically tearing through that glued-together mat of dead grass, you are introducing a catastrophic environmental shift.
You're completely shattering the greenhouse.
Precisely. You stand the matted blades up, which instantly allows oxygen to penetrate down to the crown. The dry spring air rushes through the canopy, and the sunlight directly hits the soil surface, rapidly evaporating the trapped moisture.
Wow.
You aren't fighting the fungus with chemicals. You are radically altering its habitat so it simply can no longer survive.
It's an eviction.
It's an eviction. You are changing the locks by letting the wind and the sun do the heavy lifting.
That is brilliant. It's purely mechanical warfare.
Yeah.
And that philosophy translates directly to the prevention side, too. Making sure this employee's resume goes straight into the trash next November.
Right, the employee dislikes.
Exactly. The dislikes for snow mold are exactly what you expect after hearing all this. Sunshine, good airflow, clean lawns with 0 leaves, and a shorter mowing height going into winter.
Dropping your mower deck for the final 2 cuts of the season is arguably the most effective preventative step you can take.
Really, just lowering the blade.
Yeah. You don't want to scalp the lawn, obviously, but bringing it down an inch lower than your summer height means the blades are physically too short to fold over.
They stand rigid through the frost.
Exactly. Without that mechanical folding, there is no canopy to trap the moisture.
The prevention protocol also circles back to the root of the problem, the soil. Balancing fertility means no late, massive nitrogen dumps that blow up the cells like water balloons.
Keep the water balloons away from the briar patch.
Exactly. And addressing soil health specifically calls out liquid aeration. Now, a lot of folks think of core aeration, pulling actual physical plugs of dirt out of the yard. But liquid aeration works differently, right?
It does.
It's about mechanically altering how the soil handles the water at a microscopic level.
Yes. So, compacted clay soil acts like concrete. The winter rain hits it, sits on the surface, and creates that permanent winter puddling that the fungi absolutely love.
The damp welcome mat.
Exactly. Now, liquid aeration products contain specialized enzymes and humic acids that essentially break the bonds between compacted soil particles. It opens up microscopic channels deep into the earth.
So it's letting it breathe.
Yes. Instead of the moisture sitting stagnant on the surface, it percolates down deep into the root zone.
So the surface stays relatively dry and inhospitable to fungal spores, while the roots get the deep moisture they need to wake up in the spring.
That's the beauty of it.
It all comes down to a core philosophy the source mentions. Healthy lawns don't happen by chance, they happen by choice. You are actively deciding the microclimate of your soil.
It places the agency entirely back on you. You aren't at the mercy of the winter weather. The choices you make in November dictate the reality you wake up to in March.
That's incredibly empowering. Let's quickly summarize this journey for everyone.
Sure.
We completely threw out the idea that winter is a biological pause button.
Definitely not a pause button.
We learned that snow mold doesn't actually need a blizzard. It's just a cold, wet opportunist waiting for temperatures between 32 and 60 degrees.
The burglar.
The burglar. We explored the mechanics of our own mistakes, realizing that late-season nitrogen turns grass cells into fragile, bloated water balloons, and that left-behind leaves create a completely sealed greenhouse.
The perfect storm.
And importantly, we learned that the alien mycelium webs are incredibly vulnerable to mechanical disruption. You can defeat them just by standing the grass up with a rake and letting the environment do the rest.
Nature handles the rest.
So next time you look out the window in late November and try to justify skipping that final shorter mow of the season, or decide to leave that final layer of oak leaves on the ground, remember exactly who is waiting to punch their time card.
They are ready to work.
They really are. So what does this all mean? We know that the specific fungus, snow mold, waits patiently in the dirt for just one mistake from you to wake up and start aggressively hunting.
Just one mistake.
It really makes you wonder, what other invisible microscopic ecosystems are lying completely dormant in the soil right beneath your feet, just waiting for the exact right combination of temperature, moisture, and human error to suddenly wake up and take over.
A fascinating and slightly unsettling thought to leave on.
Right. Keep an eye on the ecosystem right outside your door. Until next time, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.